For this section, we're going to learn about the windows. We already did those last time, and now we're going to do the frames around the windows. Okay. If I kind of switch back to this deal, you can see around my windows they always put wood, because the windows were made out of, well, the glass obviously was held in place by wood. Then the wood frames, called sashes, were held together and placed by wood around them. So they would have a decorative wooden, what was called trim, around the windows. And usually on the top they would have a little piece that kind of protruded or stuck out over the window, so that the rain, would hit that rather than hit the window and go inside. And it would have metal over the top of it or something called flashing to keep out the water. But usually they would have a wooden frame around, and then they would have crown molding or wooden piece that would go over the top to kind of keep out any rain, wind, elements, those kind of things. So here we go. Going back to my original drawing, or my drawing that's in progress here. I'm going to take my windows and put the frames around them. You can do this one of two ways. Here is my window, okay, and I'm going to take a frame around the outside of it. So what you do is you basically just trace along the outside. Okay, so I'm going to make the wood on the outside here. I'm going to make the wood on the outside here, and quite typically they would have a piece below it called the sill that would stick out just a little farther, okay, than the window itself. Okay, and then on the top they would typically, like I said, have a crown molding. So they'd have the piece right above the window, and then they'd have a larger piece that would go out just a bit, flare out, and then be kind of flat along the top, and that would have what was called flashing, or like a metal piece that would kind of flip over the top of that. So there's my kind of wooden frame around that window. Now I'm going to do the same thing for this one, but of course this one's a little different because it goes around the edge, so I can't draw that other side because it's around the other edge. And then this side I'm going to draw here, top piece, and I should have crown molding kind of being at the same height there. Okay, so there's my crown molding. Now I'm going to do that on all my other windows. That's drawing the frame around the outside, which you can totally do, easy to be done. Not a problem. If I slide this up a little bit so we make sure we see these bottom windows, these ones I drew really close together on purpose, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to draw my frame on the inside of my window. So I'm just going to redraw this a little bit because it's kind of looking lopsided. There, that looks better to me. Okay, now I'm going to draw my frame on the inside. I'm going to just trace on the inside of my line here, like that. And then I'm going to trace along the inside here, and trace along the inside here. And typically on curved windows they couldn't have crown molding so much, but then the round part was basically the crown molding. So there's the inside of that window. I'm going to do the inside of this window. And you get the idea. You can do the inside, tracing around the inside to make the wooden frame, or tracing around the outside. Now the reason why I trace around the insides of these ones is because now this piece that's here in the center, that's going to be kind of my wood frame that goes in between the windows, because they're so close together that usually when there was windows that were close together like that, they would use like one piece of wood in the middle here, and then they'd break off into two separate pieces of wood there. So there's my idea. Okay, so here's drawing the frame on the inside of your window. Here's drawing the frame on the outside of the window up here, like that. Now I want you to go through each of your windows and put them in exactly like you'd want them. Frames around the outside, frames around the inside, whichever one you choose. Neither are right or wrong. Just do what you can as far as making them look nice, look neat. And here's kind of that little description, visual description about doing it. And these ones are all rectangles, so it's simple. If you've got more complicated windows, that's fine too. Okay?